but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go, show recaps, predictions, sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports. Let go.
What is going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and we are live for your Raw Recap on April the 6th, 2026, live here on the EVP Show on my X account, and also live on Talk It Up podcast X account. Raw was really good. They definitely huge difference from SmackDown. Obviously Stand and Deliver was good, but they really they went full force tonight, even with Roman not being on the card. It was still a really good show. Definitely a couple of surprises, especially for me. Seeing Rey Mysterio and every single reporting outlet out there said Gunther, or they scrapped Gunther and Rey because he was hurt. Now he's in the ladder match, which now it really doesn't matter at this point, because now we see the direction they're going for putting Gunther and Seth together. Touched on it a little bit on Scoop yesterday, obviously one of the questions, but with them just throwing Gunther and Seth together, they had to finish this, they had to tell a story from it, and they did a good job with that tonight, I feel like. But they did go back to the whole favor thing that they did last year, or with Punk and Heyman before. But this ultimately leads to Gunther Brock. I mean, it's super obvious. I've been kind of clamoring for it for quite a while. I kind of felt like that's where Brock will retire. From Minneapolis, so that's probably going to be the last person that Gunther has to retire for a while, though. So it's good for him to get out of the element, to not just be completely entrenched into the career killer. But yeah, this Rey Mysterio, that was completely out of nowhere. Even some of the top, the real top-notch reporters were super shocked. He come out in street clothes, so like I said, but he's on the poster, so it looks like he has been added to the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't know, Dominic Mysterio said something backstage to JD about going to talk to Adam Pearce about his dad being in that ladder match, so we'll see. But he is on the poster. I don't know what they're gonna, do with that, but definitely can see that the Demon is gonna be coming out after tonight. Some good stuff I feel like from Liv and Stephanie. Finally, right on the road to WrestleMania. Obviously Liv with her new I don't know if it's gonna be her entrance at WrestleMania, but it was her and a bunch of girls sitting on a chair. Some sort of dance routine. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. They did a really good job of pushing things. It wasn't crazy with the AJ Lee, Becky Lynch stuff. It just really wasn't. Obviously you saw Austin Theory still talking to Maxine Dupree in the back. So obviously that's an angle they're gonna be working moving forward. Maxine probably ends up joining the division at some point because she has no direction at all on Raw, and then with the NXT lady is going to be coming up, it's just going to have to fit somehow. I don't know what else they can do with her unless she gets released, which we don't want that to happen. Anybody. The opening promo segment obviously was probably that. I know a lot of people are clamoring for Wwe Brock to main event, and I mean, with the story they're telling with Cody and Randy now, with Pat McAfee involved, like, I personally wouldn't mind Wwe and Brock main event. But I know Brock Lesnar is an open and close type guy, so I don't know which night. Obviously, it'll be announced tomorrow morning, 9:30, I believe, on ESPN. They didn't announce the Oscar EO match, but I still think that happens. If it doesn't, yeah, for some crazy reason, it doesn't, which I still think it really will, because Oscar did cut that promo. I mean, maybe they would do it on the go home of Raw, but I don't know. Can you leave EO off the card? So I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. I still feel like EO Oscar has to happen in order to get that Kyrie flip away from Oscar. So, but yeah, pretty good show. I give it about a 9 at least. Definitely a breath of fresh air from SmackDown. And you could definitely tell, a lot of different angles where they're going with this whole TKO. Looks like they're building some sort of corporation. WWE, Triple H's guys maybe against TKO, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. They also could be red herring throwing a swerve. I'm holding out hope that Cody goes heel at WrestleMania. After Punk's promo tonight, I really feel like Rock's definitely going to be involved in the Punk Roman stuff. I mean, he could get involved in the Cody stuff too, but Punk called Rock out tonight, so I think it would make more sense for Rock to get involved. He's going to be in Las Vegas that weekend. Some sort of movie thing. I don't have the specifics on that. But he's going to be there anyway. So I definitely, I've been saying it for a while. I think he's getting involved. They got to set up Rock Roman somehow at 43. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, this could all be just one big, huge ass swerve. I don't know. Punk and Cody could end up going heel. Like, who knows? WWE is, I don't know. It's tough to really tell. Well, with all the shit that they've been doing over the last 4 to 5 weeks. But WrestleMania is really close. So before we get started, just a couple quick announcements. Obviously, this Wednesday, it's kind of impromptu, but my guest that I'll be interviewing Wednesday, she will be traveling to Las Vegas next week for WrestleMania. So we just kind of worked out a day and a time slot that worked best for both of us. I had Wednesday off already this week. Wednesday and Saturday was my day off this week anyway. So Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, live here on the EVP show, I will be interviewing Mona, the one. Obviously, if you don't know her, she's very well liked in the community. She's done a lot of media work, a lot of interviews with all the big names. Just find her on TikTok and Instagram, and you'll see pretty much all you need to know. She has a TikTok with Cody. I know she's like pretty good friends with Weezy and Denise, and I also believe she's friends with Sap as well. So she's definitely well known. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Next Wednesday, I know there's a lot of confusion going on with my schedule. Obviously, with the interview being planned for this week. But next week is a 7-day week. There will be no Sunday scoops next Sunday. There will be this Sunday coming up, like 6 days from now. But April the 19th, there will be no Sunday Scoop. That's WrestleMania Sunday. And I will be doing a night 2 recap for that show. So still a lot of content. It'll be a 6-day week this week with the interview, which I don't really consider that like it's only going to be an hour, maybe hour 10, hour 15 top, something like that. It's not going to be a super long interview. But yeah, looking forward to having Mona on. She's fabulous, fantastic, very nice. And it's going to be my first interview on. I do believe I might have interviewed her once already on a space or something, but I can't remember. But definitely on the YouTube platform, she has her own YouTube channel, which has close to 10K subscribers. I don't know, like 2, 3, 400,000 on Instagram. I'm not quite sure about TikTok. But like I said, she's very well liked in the community, very well known. So definitely looking forward to that. Like I said again, no Sunday Scoops. There will be a Sunday Scoop coming up this Sunday, coming up on the 12th. But April 19th, no Sunday Scoops. That's WrestleMania Sunday, night 2. And I will be doing a WrestleMania night 2 recap. The WrestleMania prediction show, we are absolutely full to the gill. I actually have like 1 or 2 people like on the waiting list if somebody can't make it. So that will be next, not this Wednesday because that's the interview with Mona, but next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, live here on the EVP show. We will be doing the WrestleMania prediction show. And all the matches will be announced tomorrow on ESPN. So looking forward to that. Next week is a super busy week. It's WrestleMania week. So, even though I'm not doing scoops, it's still going to be a 7-day week because I'm going to be doing a night 2 recap of WrestleMania. Sunday Scoops will come back on April 26th, the weekend after WrestleMania, and then LFG Season 3 will start on April 26th. The Sunday, the weekend after WrestleMania, on a Sunday night. It's super late. A&E likes to put the show on at 10 p.m., which I don't really care that much for that, which was a little bit earlier, but I can still do scoops and still have a few hours to like chill out and then watch LFG and then come on for. I wouldn't expect the recap to be very long, maybe 30, 45 minutes, because like I said, the show's only like an hour or so. But starting April 26th, I will be doing LFG Season 3 recap. So that's all the announcements. Obviously, you guys set that reminder for that interview. I'm sure that she'll be bringing in, or a lot of people that she follows or follows her, I'm sure will be in for that interview, or they could not. What's going on? Been too good to see. But we'll see. She has a huge following, so like I said, looking forward to the interview, my first one on YouTube. I reached out to several others. Just wait for some responses back. So we'll see what happens. All it takes is one interview to kind of boom your channel, and then kind of open doors up for future interviews. So right now I'm not really focused on the whole. I wouldn't turn it down, but I haven't really been reaching out to like wrestlers and stuff like that. It's mainly just been like, other content creators that are like, really big. Not JD or anybody like that, because also like, he ain't gonna do it for one, and I'm not paying him. So, but yeah, these are content creators that are well established or whatever. Kind of run in the same circles. So, yeah. So looking forward to interviewing Mona. She's phenomenal. You guys will love her. Super sweet. Um, I'm not even really that nervous, like I said, because I've had conversations with her before. So I think I might have even been on a prediction show with her before on Chair Shot, but I'm not. I can't really remember. That was a long time ago. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the announcements. Make sure you guys tune in 1 p.m. Eastern Wednesday for that interview, and then next week is a 7-day week, and the WrestleMania prediction show will be next Wednesday night, at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have 10 people on the panel, for 14 matches. So plus, we'll have 2 people doing that prediction in the comments. So probably 12 people with 14 matches, 10 on screen and 2 in the comments. So it's going to be a long stream, but I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, make sure you guys set the notifications. I haven't set up the stream for next week yet, but slowly but surely I'll start getting them set up. Obviously, I'm working out all the details on what I want to use for predictions, and night 1 recap is obviously going to be Cody Randy and Roman Punk night 2 recap. So make sure you guys tune into the channel for all of that. I saw Raw and just caught so much because Io beat Io best and believe Rhea winning for Io. Yeah, Io got the win tonight. Asuka cut the promo. I thought for sure they would make that match official with Asuka and Io. I'm gonna be highly disappointed if that match is left off the card, because how do you get to Kyrie and finally flipping on not flipping but just tired of Asuka's shit basically without that match. I mean, if they don't do it at WrestleMania, I guess they do it next week, but I feel like they would have probably announced something like that. But we'll see tomorrow when they announce the matches. I still think we're going to get it because there's going to be 14 matches. So, unfortunately, I don't think like Tiffany or Julie or any of them are going to make the card. I don't think so. Sucks, but, can only put so many matches on a 2-night card. So, but yeah, I don't know who wins Bento. It's really tough to tell right now. Heard a lot of rumblings about Bianca. WWE likes to say big moments and surprises for WrestleMania, so I haven't heard any reports on how she's doing. But if Io is not going to face Asuka, then I guess they could have Io in Rhea's corner. But I think that's kind of, I mean, they are together and they're great together, but I think that's kind of a waste of Io Sky not to have her on the card. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pulling for Rhea, but I don't know if she's gonna win or not yet. So, we'll see though. Like I said, Netflix is really high on Rhea, so we'll see which route they go. Because Jay just formed this faction. A lot of stuff happened tonight, like stuff I talked about on Scoot. There was a couple of questions just on Scoots about the whole Roxanne thing, and I said, is she or is she not with Liv? And I really don't think she is, especially after tonight. Finn brought her into the Judgment Day. I don't know how long ago I said we're getting a demon at WrestleMania. Probably weeks at least, maybe a month. Just a lot of good storytelling tonight from WWE. So we're gonna go ahead and get started though. This is the Raw Recap. April 6th, 2026, from the Toyota Center in H-Town down, Houston, Texas. We're going to see the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and the Ruler over Femi. Seth freaking Rollins was supposed to open the show, but that got changed to Punk. Also, we're going to see Gunther. We're going to get the Vision, one half of the men's Raw World Tag Team Champions division. Austin Theory versus the Megastar LA Knight. And then we're gonna get Ben 2's favorite, Rhea Ripley and the Genius of the Sky, Io Sky versus two members of the Baddie 2.0, what I call them, Meechin and B5. So that was good stuff. We were supposed to get Finn versus JD, but that didn't happen. And then the 6-man tag, WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta, Dragon Lee, and the young OG Javon Evans versus Los Americanos, El Grande Americano, Bravo Americano, and Rayo Americano. And there's a contract signing, obviously, with Brock and Oba, apparently. Obviously, CM Punk, which that was probably, some of the Oba stuff for me was a lot. Punk really let it loose tonight, so I was I can't repeat. I'm not gonna be able to repeat what he called Pat McAfee live here, but I mean some of it I can, but the way he pronounced his last name, I'm obviously not gonna say that. But yeah, Punk went crazy tonight. Great promo from CM Punk. He called out TKO. He called out The Rock. He called out Ari Emanuel. He talked about lowering the ticket sales. He talked about Roman. He talked about Pat McAfee. He talked about everybody. It was another CM Punk version of a pipe bomb. So, good stuff. So we opened the show. Obviously, Seth Rollins was supposed to open. That was the original rundown from Corey Hayes at bodyslam.net, but it got changed to CM Punk. CM Punk's music hit, and he, like you can see him walking through, he looks kind of pissed off. He's walking super fast. He makes his way down to the ring, and then Punk sits down in the ring in the little, cross leg pose that he does when he does a pipe bomb. The fucking crowd is going crazy for Punk. The crowd was like, I will say this: the crowd tonight was phenomenal. From start to finish, like they were really into it tonight. Which I've always said that, and it doesn't take a source or it just takes common sense to know that a crowd makes a show. If the crowd's dead, then the show's kind of dead. But Houston showed out tonight, so shout out to them for that. Punk then starts off by saying Houston is a wrestling town. Punk then says there's a lot of pro wrestling history. Punk then says he has had some great moments in this ring, and there are ghosts of things that should have happened. Punk then says this is Paul Bosch country, whoever that is. I'm unfamiliar with who Paul Bosch is. Punk then says he loved to hear about the old timers. Punk then says he can't help but to compare yourself and wonder how would they handle these things. Punk then says, what would Harley Race do? Punk then says, dreams are nice, but it is when you are awake. Punk then says he is awake, and he asked the question he always asked. Punk then, the fans start chanting OTC, OTC, and CM Punk says, don't worry, Roman's not here tonight. Punk then says 2 weeks ago, with help from his cousins, Roman put him through the announce desk with a power bomb. Punk then says he strolled out like he was the king of the world. Punk then says he couldn't wait to get revenge. Punk then says he showed up at MSG cousinless without Jay and Jimmy with his title belt, and he got revenge. Punk then says he put Roman through the announce desk alone. Punkton says Roman says he hates him. Punk says that's fine, that's all fine and dandy. Punkton says if Roman hates him, he is exactly where he should be. Because Punk said he hates Roman too. Punkton says he is a fraud, checking goose. Punkton says being hated by losers is the price he pays for not being one of them. Punkton puts a title belt on the table and he tells the crowd to keep chanting for Roman and he might show up. Another shot at Roman. Punkton says he showed up and he is an old man. And he smiled. Punkton says old, not weak. Punkton says Roman hates him and he knows why. Punkton says he wanted to explain to everyone who bothered to show up tonight why he hates Roman Reigns. Punkton gets on the announce desk, stands up. Corey Graves is looking at him kind of crazy. Punkton says WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. Punkton says we both have the tools to climb to the top of the ladder in this sport. Punkton says his tools are man-made and sharpened through hard work and spite. Punkton says Roman's tools are store-bought and handed to him. And then Punk also says that they are plastic. Punkton says he was too young and stupid to understand. Punkton says now he is too old and rich to give a shit. Punkton says TKO. This is a shot at TKO. Punk says TKO sent you to Jimmy Fallon because you are safe, boring, and whatever this saccharine. Punkton says he is dangerous because you don't know what he is going to say. Punkton says he can film a dozen movies and not miss a day, but you use it as a crutch and the people boo him because you aren't here. Little heel Punk sounds like. Call Roman safe and boring. Punkton says when you bother to show up, you arrive late and leave early. Punkton says you puff your chest out like you are the Rock. As I said, Rock mentioned. Punkton says at least the Rock is a Hollywood superstar. Rock mentioned again. Punkton says The Rock was a superstar. Another Rock mention. So we're going to see The Rock get involved with this match. Punkton says his bloated cousin isn't on the board of directors. Another shot at The Rock. Punkton says he doesn't surround himself to keep him away from the truth. Punkton says his daddy didn't give him a favorite job because he sucked at football. Punkton says he got everything by fighting for it, and you are a buck-toothed man who ate dog food for a weird old man. Talking about BKM. Punkton says that weird old man treated him like a dog and expected him to smile. Punkton says he had effed up money and decided to leave. Punkton says you cannot control him like you control your cousins. Punkton asked if we were having fun yet. Punkton says be careful what you wish for when you give him a pipe bomb. Punkton says he is giving it to everyone tonight. Punkton says Pat McAfee. Punkton says you buggy whipped, no armed hillbilly. You call Pat McAfee a buggy whipped, no armed hillbilly. That shit's fucking hilarious. Punkton says you think you can come to his business and talk trash. Punkton says you cashed a check. You cashed a check that you wrote a check that your ass is not going to be able to cash. Punkton says call your full agent, Ari Emanuel, that is Pat McAfee's agent, to tell him to lower the ticket prices if you want to complain about ticket sales. So big shot at Arya Emanuel and TKO. Cody did it first, and now Punk. Punkton says he won't have someone who kicked a football for a living about putting asses in the seats. Punkton says lower the ticket prices because he wants all of these families to see him stand on Roman Reigns' throat at WrestleMania. And then Punk drops the microphone. So we got a ultimate crash out CM Punk pipe bomb where he definitely name dropped the final boss, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, at least 3-4 times. Talked about Arya Emanuel. Talked about the tickets, lowering the ticket sales. Talked about Roman. Talked about Pat McAfee as well. So this is about to get really ugly, it looks like. Ultimate pipe bomb. So then we get to the regularly scheduled stuff. We see Asha Speed ask Danhausen to end the curse. He then mentioned what happened. Danhausen then tells Asha Speed that he can cancel the curse if he gives him his house. So Danhausen wants Asha Speed's house to cancel the curse. Adam Pearson shows up and he asks what is he doing here. Speed then says he knows he cost the Usos, but he needs some advice. Adam Pearson tells Asha Speed to go home. Austin Theory and Logan Paul then show up and they tell Asha Speed not to listen to Dr. Evil. Logan then says what LA Knight did was unforgivable, obviously on Asha Speed's stream thing, where LA Knight attacked him. Logan then says the Usos, LA Knight, and everyone hate him. Logan then says Asha Speed is safe with division with him and Austin Theory. So then the Vision and Asha Speed make their way down to the ring for the first match of the night. LA Knight follows. We're going to see the Vision, one half of the WWE World Tag Team Champion, the Vision, Austin Theory versus the megastar LA Knight. So the match starts off with both men locking up. The Knight pushes Theory into the turnbuckles. Both men then lock up again. Theory sends Knight to the mat. LA Knight then hits a hip toss and a slam. LA Knight then hits another slam, and Theory goes to the floor. Theory then returns to the ring. They lock up again. Austin delivers a punch to LA Knight in the corner and in the turnbuckles. Austin then delivers some back elbows and hits a suplex and goes for a pinfall for a count of 2. Austin then hits an Irish whip, and LA Knight hits a clothesline out of the corner. Austin Theory then goes to the floor, and he hits a dropkick through the ropes. LA Knight then clotheslines Theory over the ringside barrier, and Knight begins to pose. LA Knight sends Theory back over the ringside barrier, but then Theory then sends LA Knight into the ring post, and Theory poses on the ringside barrier. Theory then sends LA Knight's head into the apron. They then return to the ring. LA Knight hits some punches. Austin Theory then hits an Irish whip and a clothesline into the corner. Austin Theory then hits a punch. Theory then chokes Knight in the ropes. LA Knight then hits some punches and a shoulder tackle. LA Knight then hits the sunset flip, goes for the pin, but only gets a count of 2. Austin Theory then hits a back elbow and then punches Knight. Knight fires back and hits. I'm sorry. LA Knight then blocks a couple of suplex attempts from Austin Theory. They then go back and forth with suplex attempts, and LA Knight lands on his feet and hits a neck breaker. LA Knight then hits some punches and a flying clothesline. LA Knight then hits a side Russian leg sweep, and he sends Austin Theory into the turnbuckles and hits a leaping neck breaker for a count of 2. Theory then hits a punch and a rolling blockbuster for a count of 2. Theory then gets Knight on his shoulders, but LA Knight escapes, and he clotheslines Theory over the top rope and to the floor. LA Knight then goes to the floor, and he looks at Logan Paul. LA Knight then sends Theory's head into the announce desk on several occasions, like 5 or 6 times. So then Logan Paul gets involved. He distracts Knight, and he then Knight also has some words for I Show Speed. LA Knight then sends Theory back into the ring, and Logan pushes Speed into Knight against the apron. LA Knight then goes after Speed and chases him up the aisle, and then out comes the Usos. Now, last week, when the Usos come out, they had new music, but not this week. So it looks like WWE pivoted again, because they want the crowd to be able to yeet at WrestleMania because it is very popular. So it was Jay Uso's music hits. I showed screwed at this point. Speed then leaps over Knight and goes into the ring. LA Knight grabs Asha's Speed. Logan then gets on the apron, and Knight clotheslines him off the apron. Jerry then gets a roll up and a handful of tights for the 1, 2, 3. So the winner of the match is one half of the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions, Austin Theory. Off the distraction. After the match, Speed is alone in the ring with Knight and Usos. Speed says he didn't do anything. Jay Uso then grabs Asha's Speed and Jimmy tells him to do it, and they set up for a 1D. But Logan Paul pulls Speed out from under the rope to safety. LA Knight then takes the mic. He then tells them not to go anywhere. He then says he wants Adam Pearce to come out as well. He then says, you look at the men in the ring with him, and they got screwed out of their titles by Speed. He then says Speed cost him his match tonight against Austin Theory. LA Knight then says he has the perfect place for a match this big. He then says he is talking about WrestleMania. He then says Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Asha's Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. Adam Pearce is on the stage, and he looks around, and he asks Knight if he wants a 6-man tag match at WrestleMania. Adam Pearce then asks Logan if he's willing to do it. Pearson says Speed should have stayed home, but now you're going to WrestleMania. So it is official, match number 13. It will be Asha Speed and Logan Paul and Austin Theory in a 6-man tag against the Usos and LA Knight. Also, I'm not going to run through the whole WrestleMania card with you guys, because tomorrow morning they're going to announce the full 14-match card, with what matches are on each day. I fully expect Oba and Brock to open up either night 1 or night 2, because Brock's going to open or close. So that's just Brock Lesnar. WWE is good, but there's no pain whatsoever. Taker streak gone was a mistake. Lesnar went a Rumble mistake. Rousey coming to WWE, which should have been an 05, would have given an extra boost. Yep. So we then take a look at what happened with Pat McAfee. Obviously, it's been the whole talking point from content creators to spaces to everywhere. Everybody's been talking about SmackDown and Pat McAfee being the one that was on the phone with Randy Orton. Michael Cole said he was disappointed with what happened on SmackDown. But we then take a look back at what happened with Cody and Randy. I think Michael Cole said he was disappointed, but I think he said we'll see what kind of factor. I believe he said let's see what kind of factor that he's gonna play. That Pat McAfee is gonna play. I think he's gonna play a fucking huge factor. Pat McAfee's mistake really should have been DiBiase Jr. on that phone. Yeah, I agree. But it wasn't, so we're going to have to just see what they have in store for us. Hopefully they can salvage it. We have 2 weeks. And I mean, I will try to go through the WrestleMania card. I don't have it in front of me. I'll try to do it at the end of the show if I have time. But there's 13 matches as of right now. So, I mean, I could probably run through it really fast in my head, honestly. So, title matches. So we got Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for the Raw title. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the SmackDown title. Fatal 4-Way for the women's SmackDown titles. With the Bella Twins, Charlotte Flair and Alexa, Bayley and Lyra, and the Irresistible Forces. That's 3 matches. Obviously, the 6-man tag, Io Speed, the Vision against the Usos and LA Knight. That's 4. Liv Morgan challenges Stephanie McCourt for the Raw Women's Championship. That's 5. AJ Lee defends the Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. That is going to be number 6. Jade Cargill will defend the SmackDown Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. That is 7. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. That is 8. Let's see. There's 5 more. Sami Zayn will defend the U.S. title against Trick Williams. That is 9. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in a non-sanctioned match. That is 10. There's 3 more. What am I leaving out? Obviously, the ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Penta, now Rey Mysterio Jr., Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, and Rusev. That's 11. There's 2 matches I'm leaving. Seth Rollins versus Gunther is 12. And I know there's one I'm leaving out. If you guys are in the comments, obviously you guys, that's 12 matches that I just named off right there. The SmackDown tag title is not on the line, I don't think. Julius not on the line. There's something I'm missing. What am I missing? There's one match that I'm missing because I named 13, right? Yeah. So those are the ones that I know of. Because I named all the big matches. So we got 13 as of now. I'll probably announce another one in the morning to make 14. So big card. We see Kobe Kingston and Grayson Waller. Oh, I know what the match I'm leaving out is. Number 13. It's Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. So yeah, that's your 13 matches right there, guys. As of today, as of right now. I expect the 14 to be Asuka and Io. If not, then I guess they do it on Raw next week. We then see Kobe Kingston and Grayson Waller arguing while Finn Balor is walking. We see Jackie Redmond with Los Americanos. Ryo says, no Americanos at WrestleMania. Ryo then says, you made a big mistake. Bravo then talks about their opponents tonight. Grande then says, without a Grande Americano, the IC title match is a disgrace. And says they should do something about it. So then JD McDonough makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by Finn Balor. But before the match can even get underway, the match starts off with Dominic Mysterio attacking Finn Balor from behind, and he does the Finn pose. Finn then punches Dominic, and he kicks JD and sends JD into the ring post. Finn then punches Dominic, and he sends Dominic into the ring. Finn delivers a back elbow to Dominic, and he kicks him. But Finn then kicks JD, and he sends him over the top rope into the floor. Dominic then hits Finn from behind with his title belt. I guess it was a AAA title. JD then hands Dominic a chair, and he hits Finn in the back with the chair. JD then kicks Finn, and Dominic puts the chair on Finn. Dominic then points to the WrestleMania sign. So definitely expect to see that Demon Finn come out at WrestleMania when he faces Dom. So I'm definitely looking forward to that match. So this segment, I'm going to tell you right now, I love AJ Lee, I love Becky Lynch, but it's just not. They have to be done after this. This segment just did not do anything for me. It's a video package, obviously with Michael Cole and AJ, Michael Cole says AJ Lee is a trailblazer and he cannot believe he is sitting across with her in her first WrestleMania match in 12 years. Becky Lynch obviously interrupts and insults Michael Cole for asking softball-type questions. Michael Cole then tells Becky he doesn't need it and he leaves. So Becky Lynch sits down with AJ. Becky then says what he said that was right is that she can't believe that she is sitting here. Becky then asks if AJ reminds her about the last WrestleMania she saw her. Becky then says you acted with your fakeness. Becky then said you saw your replacement. Becky then says you quit the next day because she knew she was coming. Becky then says she won't have the home field advantage like she did in Chicago at WrestleMania. So then AJ fires back and tells Becky. AJ then tells Becky to underestimate her. AJ then says she is proud of Becky. Becky's like, I don't want you to be proud of me. AJ then says she is proud of what Becky did for the locker room and industry. AJ then says nothing happens because of her, because of the glass ceiling she broke. AJ then says she is not replaceable. AJ then says 10 years away, they kept calling. AJ then says the fans didn't forget her. AJ then says she knows who she is. AJ then says she is the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. AJ then tells Becky when she tucks her girls to bed and you ask her who her favorite wrestler is, she won't say her name. AJ then says she will say AJ Lee. AJ then leaves and Becky Lynch is pissed off. Which Becky did bring that up in her promo that I can't remember her and Seth or Colby, Seth's real name. She said it on Nikki and Bree's podcast from the other day. I don't remember their baby's name, but obviously the baby is a big fan of AJ Lee. So a couple of comments. Ted DiBiase Jr. returned as a mystery guy for Randy was the best, not Pat McAfee. Yeah, we kind of already touched on that. I hope Cody turns a better heel. Yeah, I hope he turns heel as well. I think now is the time. So then Bayley then makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night, accompanied by Laura Valkyria. And she is there, followed by the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Irresistible Forces. So it's going to be a singles match. Bayley goes one-on-one versus the Bougie Bully herself, Lash Legend. Match on top of both women. Both women locking up. Lash and Bayley to the floor. Nia Jackson has some words for Bayley. Bayley then gets back into the ring and she kicks Lash. God, who is texting me? Sorry, God. Sorry about that. Had a text, so I had to respond to it. That is my apologies, guys. I don't usually get text this late. It's like midnight here on the East Coast. Getting you back to the Becky, not Becky, but Bayley versus Lash Legend match. Sorry about that, guys. So Nia has some words for Bayley. Bayley then gets back into the ring. She kicks Lash. Lash then pushes Bayley away. Lash then misses a splash into the corner. Bayley hits some punches. Lash then sends Bayley to the apron, and Bayley hits some knee lifts. Bayley then goes to the turnbuckles, and she is met with a chop when she comes off. Lash then hits a bicycle kick, and Bayley goes to the floor. Lash then sends Bayley into the announce desk. Lash then sends Bayley into the ring post. They then return to the ring. Lash then kicks Bayley and hits a splash for a count of 2. Lash then delivers some forearms. Bayley fights back with some forearms, and Lash hits an Irish whip. Bayley then goes for a roll-up for only a count of 2, but Lash does not go over, and Lash hits a kick, and she slams Bayley's head into the mat. Lash then hits several shoulder tackles. Lash then gets a near fall. Lash applies a front face lock, but then Bayley then hits a cutter in the rope, followed by some kicks. Bailey then goes for a sunset foot powerbomb, but Lash blocks it. She sends Bailey into the turnbuckles and hits a Uranagi backbreaker for a count of 2. Bailey then blocks a powerbomb and she counters with her Hurricane Rana. Lash then gets a near fall. Lash then misses a splash and Bailey delivers some forearms. Lash goes for a bicycle kick and misses it and gets caught in the ropes. Bailey then hits a kick and a drop kick and sends Lash into the corner. Bailey then delivers a knee and she hits an elbow drop to the back of the neck only for a count of 2. So then Nia Jax then trips Bailey when the referee wasn't looking. Lash then goes for a shoulder in the corner, but Bailey moves and Lash hits the ring post. Nia then catches Lyra and sends her into the ring post outside. Then out comes the third team that's going to be participating in the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. Charlotte Flair, happy birthday. Happy late birthday, Charlotte Flair. She turned 40 years old yesterday. My all-time favorite in the women's division. Charlotte and Alexa then attacked Nia. Charlotte was cracking me up. She was like slapping Nia with her jacket. Crazy. Lashley hits a forearm to Bailey on the turnbuckles. Lashley goes to the turnbuckles and sets up for a superplex. But then Lyra then grabs the ankle on the superplex. And when Bailey floats over, Lyra holds the leg to allow Bailey to get the 1, 2, 3. So with some assistance from Lyra Valkyria, Bailey picks up the victory over Lash Legend. So then we take a look back at what happened with WWE Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and the career killer, the Ring General Gunther. Danhausen then makes his way out to greet the WWE Universe. He says he has some good news. Danhausen then says he visited WWE headquarters this past week, and he's proud to say that he won a Slammy Award. Danhausen then says he has a list of people he would like to thank. He then name dropped Steve Cole, which is Stone Cold, The Undertaker, Cody Rhodes, Triple H, and then the Fanhausens. He then says it's time to thank the WWE Universe. Danhausen then marches to the ring and he unleashes merchandise through a cannon. Danhausen's phenomenal, guys. I mean, the build up. Obviously, a lot of people knew Danhausen and Crate, but I mean, he's the top merch seller right now. So I love that they're switching him from show to show. I love what they're doing with Danhausen. So we then head to Michael Cole and Corey Graves on commentary. Cole says this will be the first WrestleMania without the presence of the late great Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. Cole then promotes Hulk Hogan's upcoming documentary, which will be airing on Netflix. What's going on, Raymond? Good to see you. Shout out to 225 people that's watching live for the Raw Recap. I don't know the date for that documentary, but I do know that it is going to show Hogan's last interview before he passed away. So it is going to be on Netflix. So then we get Seth freaking Rollins. Music hits and he makes his way down to the ring. Seth grabs the microphone. Crowd's going crazy for Seth, singing a song. Seth starts off by saying he'd been waiting to hear the WWE. He said, "Hey," at first, and then he said he's been waiting for the WWE Universe to sing his song. Seth then tries to rally WWE Universe, says that he tells the WWE crowd in Houston, Texas, he is now back. Officially back. All the way back. Seth then previews and talks about his WrestleMania match against Gunther. Seth then says he's still trying to put the pieces together to figure out how they got here. Seth then says he and the Ring General don't have a long history. Seth then says he doesn't think the two have personal issues, but he thinks Gunther entered into some sort of business relationship with Paul Heyman. Seth then says he's got 2 missions in his head. One of them is to take back the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that he never lost. Seth then says the second is he wants to kill off the division one by one. Seth then says half the division on the shelf. Braun Breaker's hurt. Boston Reed's hurt. Obviously, I believe if Braun would have been fully healthy and could compete, it would have been Seth and Braun instead. But I like it because they told a story after they just kind of threw this match together. Ultimately, it's going to lead to Gunther and Brock in a Brock's retirement match at SummerSlam. Seth then takes credit for putting Brock Lesnar on a silver platter for Obafemi. And the fans start chanting for Oba. Oba's so over. Seth then says, yeah. And then he says, Obafemi is the future of WWE. So Seth put Oba over right there. But Seth says he doesn't want to talk about the future. He wants to talk about the present, and that is Gunther. Seth then says it may be business for Gunther, but it's personal for him. So then Gunther then appears from behind Seth Rollins and goes for his patented sleeper hold, but Seth counters. He then hits a big boot to the face of Gunther. Seth then goes for a suicide dive, but Gunther catches him mid-air and sends him over the announce desk. Seth then begins to pound away at Gunther. Adam Pearce then makes his way out with some officials to separate the two men, and Gunther delivers a big boot. So yeah, like I said on Scoops, they threw the match together, but ultimately, Seth's not going to win at WrestleMania. Gunther's going to get the win, whether he beats him clean or whether Braun Breaker assists. And they basically told you that story tonight. I mean, for one, you can't have Gunther lose. Even though Seth's just coming back, you can't have Gunther lose. He just retired John Cena, Goldberg, AJ Styles. You can't have Gunther lose. They put him into the match with Seth to obviously build a story, and I'll get to it with the backstage between Gunther and Paul Heyman. But it's ultimately going to lead to a favor that Paul Heyman is going to owe Gunther after he beats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, which will ultimately lead to Gunther and Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam and Brock Lesnar's retirement match. And for me, I feel like that's probably going to be with Ray coming back tonight. I'm okay with Dominic being the one to retire Ray. So, but I do feel like Gunther's going to retire Brock. But then after that, he may really have to get away from the career killer gimmick at that point, because I don't know who would be left to retire. But this is definitely not a retirement match with Seth. So Seth has still got quite a bit left on his contract. Gunther walks through the back and he stops to smile, and here comes Paul Heyman. Paul then says he does not know why he did what he did at Madison Square Garden, because there is nothing personal between him and Seth. Paul then says he owes Gunther a very big thank you. Gunther then says it is personal to Seth because it is personal to him as well. Gunther then shakes Paul's hand and yanks him close to him, and he tells Paul that he owes him so much more than a thank you, which is that favor, which is ultimately going to be Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam in a retirement match. So we then take a look at what happened last week between Liv Morgan and Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie McMahon cut the promo, obviously in Spanish, but they translated it on the bottom of the screen to English if you don't know Spanish. Stephanie McMahon says if you're stupid enough to make jokes about her mother, if you want to play dirty, she will play dirty. McMahon then says that Liv is a brainless B-word who talks a lot and says nothing. McMahon then says you need to settle your daddy issues with your what's she call him, something about Dominic, loser boyfriend or deadbeat boyfriend or something like that with Dominic. Stephanie then says she is here to inspire women every day to forge their own path. Stephanie then says you won't see it coming from her, and that goes for Roxanne as well. Stephanie then says you will never get your hands on her WWE Women's Championship. Stephanie then says she has taken Liv to where no one can follow. She was talking about where Liv was talking about when she said where she comes from, it's on site. Well, Stephanie said she wants it to be on site. And then we get like some sort of vignette. Obviously that might be later on in the show. I don't know if that this is going to be Liv Morgan's appearance at WrestleMania. But she was talking about something that Stephanie McCoy has said about the bleach blonde hair and the daddy issues. It's her and a bunch of women. Like, I don't know, it looked like it come out of a Magic Mike movie or something like that. But it was a very short video, and I didn't really watch it. So Penta, Dragon Lee, and Javon Evans make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night against the Los Americanos. So it's going to be WWE Intercontinental Champion Penta, Dragon Lee, and the young OG Javon Evans versus Los Americanos, El Grande Americano, Bravo, and Raya Americano. Already hour in, so really good match here, a lot of action. I'll just kind of skim through some of this stuff. Evans and Grande are down. Raya and Penta tag in. Penta hits a kick and a wraparound bulldog. Penta then hits a backbreaker to Bravo. Penta then hits a double DDT to Raya and Bravo. Lee then tags in and hits a hesitation drop kick on Raya. Lee then sets up for a Styles Clash in honor of AJ Styles, but Raya makes a save. Grande then hits a headbutt to Lee. Raya then tags in and hits a diving headbutt. Bravo then hits a diving headbutt for a count of 2. Grande then hits an integer to Penta. Javon Evans hits a rebound round kick on Grande. Raya then stops Evans on a cutter. Dragon Lee then hits a double stomp on Raya and a Styles Clash on Bravo Americano. Evans then tags in and they hit super kick on Raya and Grande. Lee then hits a leaping Hurricane Rana over the top rope and to the floor. Penta then hits a destroyer on the apron to Ryo, and then Javon Evans climbs up to the top rope and he delivers a phenomenal OG cutter onto Bravo for the 1, 2, 3. Winners of the 6-man tag team match are the Intercontinental Champion Penta, Dragon Lee, and the young OG Javon Evans. After the match, which was a huge surprise of the night, definitely probably the biggest surprise of the night, we hear Rey Mysterio's music hit, and he makes his way down to the ring. Rey asks how everyone is. Obviously, he was in street clothes. He then says he had to come out to say how cool it has been to see Penta's journey. He then mentions the ladder match that has the potential to be one of the greatest ladder matches ever. He then says last year he missed WrestleMania due to an injury, which he suffered like right before WrestleMania. He then says he talked to Adam Pearce, and they talked about how the match is missing one person, and that person is Rey Mysterio. Penta then tells Rey, "Let's make history." So it is official. It will be Penta defending his Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match against Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Rusev. Who am I leaving out? Penta, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Rusev, Rey Mysterio. And JD McDonough. So yes, now a 6-person ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. So then we take a look back at what Cody Rhodes had to say on SmackDown, which I covered that promo on the SmackDown recap, where Cody was talking about TKO, and basically Cody says that, they can fire him if they want to. We'll see how well that worked out last time. And then Cody said that Pat McAfee being a secret caller kind of comparing it to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, saying that the Hulk Hogan was the third man or whatever. And he compared him to Disco Inferno. Cody Rhodes also said that he's starting to hear those voices in his head. So I gotta say, like the copy button on all the comments on accident. I was cleaning my computer. So we then see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky warming up backstage. They will be in action. Rhea and Io then hug, while behind them we see Maxine Dupree, once again, like I said, for the second time talking to Austin Theory. So Cathy Kelly is in the interview area with Bayley and Lyra. She asks Bayley about the win tonight. Lyra asks if they have everyone's attention now. She then says, what you saw tonight is a taste of what is going to happen at WrestleMania. She then says they are the biggest threat in the division and they are going to win the tag team championship. Bayley then says, we know how much those titles mean to her. She then says they will do whatever it takes. She then says they're tired of sitting in the back and waiting their turn. She then says they don't care who you are because you can call them the future women's WWE's tag team champions. So then we get a recap of what happened last week with Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. Right now, for me, that feels like the second most hype match behind Roman and Punk. Obviously, with Pat McAfee being out to this Cody story, I just kind of lost a lot of steam with it. Hopefully, they can recuperate, but I don't have my hopes up, so we'll see. So then we get a promo. It doesn't get announced. It's not official. It should be official, but Asuka then cuts a promo and she tells Io Sky that they were family, but she tried to take everything from her. Asuka then said, your selfishness destroyed the family. Asuka then said, you tried to rip Kairi Sane apart. Asuka then says she came to WWE to pave the way for her and Kairi. Asuka then says she sacrificed everything to give you the best opportunities. Asuka then says she never expected Io to thank her. Asuka then says she did it for love and she loved Io too much. Asuka then says you took advantage of my kindness. Asuka then says Io used her and now she must pay. Asuka then says she will always be your senpai. Asuka then says she will teach you one final lesson in the ring. Asuka then says she will take everything away from Io. So I fully expect that to be the 14th match added when they announce the matches tomorrow for WrestleMania. They're going to 9:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Joe Tessitore will break down the 7 matches that will occur on night 1 and hopefully 7 matches on night 2 as well. I don't think so. Sean, I don't think they are winning. I think Bayley and Lyra are gonna win, honestly. And here's why, because Bayley missed WrestleMania last year, was supposed to win the tag titles. With Lyra, Becky took her spot. Kind of a full circle moment. They've done a lot of backstage stuff with Bayley and Lyra. Charlotte and Alexa for sure not winning. Nikki's kind of nursing a ankle injury. And then the Bella Twins just signed a 2-year contract. So, like, they don't necessarily have to win it at WrestleMania. Because, I mean, it would be a big WrestleMania moment for them. But they have a 2-year deal. So, like, they can win the titles maybe SummerSlam or, any time before this 2-year contract. So I'm going with Bayley and Lyra Valkyria to walk out of WrestleMania with the tag titles. Because for me, it'll be a full circle year moment for them. Stephanie versus Liv is the match I'm looking forward to most. Yeah, it really picked up tonight. And like we talked about yesterday on Scoops, Liv and Roxanne were having that conversation about how Finn, brought her into the Judgment Day. And obviously, Roxanne was about to answer the question, but then Stephanie Bakur attacked her from behind, and like they hit heads like really freaking hard. And then Stephanie threw Liv Morgan into a TV screen. So yeah, it's gonna be a great match. Stephanie and Liv. Looking forward to it. So Rhea Ripley and Io Sky make their way down to the ring for the main event of the night, followed by Michin and B-Fab, who is accompanied by the WWE Women's SmackDown Champion Jade Cargill. The Baddies 2.0 is what I call them. So the match starts off with B-Fab and Rhea Ripley, and Rhea blocks a kick from B-Fab. Rhea hits a clothesline, and that's a face buster. Rhea then brings Michin into the ring and hits a thrust kick. Rhea then sends Michin to the floor. B-Fab then hits a bicycle kick, and she punches Rhea. B-Fab then hits some elbows in the corner. Rhea then hits a forearm to B-Fab, and B-Fab does a float over into a DDT for a count of 2. B-Fab then applies a rear chin lock. Rhea then hits some kicks, and Io tags in, and she gets a victory roll and hits a double stomp on Michin. Michin then hits an Irish whip, and Io goes to the apron, and she kicks Michin. Io then drops B-Fab on the top rope. Io goes up top and hits a double missile drop kick, and then she flips around and does the ear gimmick we all love. Io then hits a suicide dive to Michin and B-Fab. Io and Michin then return to the ring, and Michin escapes a slam, and she blocked the Hurricane Rana. Michin then hits a sit-down powerbomb and goes for the pin because it's a 2 count. Michin then hits some punches, and then goes for a pinfall again, but Io kicks out. B-Fab tags in, they hit a double suplex, and B-Fab goes for the pin, another 2 count. B-Fab then hits an Irish whip and a knee in the corner. Io then avoids a knee in the corner, and she gets a fall. She gets a near fall with her roll up. B-Fab then goes for a pin. A lot of pinfalls here. Michin then tags in. Michin senses in a tarantula. Michin then goes for a pinfall. Io kicks out. Michin then chokes Io on the ropes. B-Fab tags in. She chokes Io on the ropes. And then B-Fab hits a sliding clothesline for a pinfall attempt for count of 2. Io recovers, hits a jawbreaker, and B-Fab stops Io from making a tag to Rhea. B-Fab then hits a clothesline, and she has some choice words for Rhea Ripley. B-Fab then punches Rhea on the apron, and the referee has to hold Rhea back, so Michin joins in on the attack on Io. The referee then sees Michin in the ring, and while she argued with B-Fab, Michin Jade pulls Rhea off the apron. Michin then runs into the ring post, and Io gets a roll-up on B-Fab for the 1, 2, 3. And a lot of content creators and podcasters after Jade Cargill and B-Fab and Michin teamed up. I believe it was Santi's app that I heard it from first. I think it was on Denise's after show or something. He said that he felt like it might have been Solid Monster too, Jason Solid Monster. Both of them made mention to B-Fab and Michin, like obviously, it's good that Jade made this faction, but he said they both said they felt like it was gonna be just something for Rhea Ripley to do up until WrestleMania. And that's exactly what. And then they even said that there would be a tag match with the two, with Rhea and Io versus them. So, yeah. So, the winners of the match is Rhea Ripley and the Genius of Scott, Io Scott. After the match, though, B-Fab, Jade, and Michin attack Io. Michin then gets a kendo stick, and Rhea recovers and goes after Jade. But then Jade hits a bicycle kick. Michin and B-Fab then hold Rhea in the corner, and Jade has some choice words for her. Jade then, Michin and B-Fab are holding Rhea to watch, basically trapping her in the corner, while Jade attacks Io Sky and hits her several times with the kendo stick, and then she hits Jaded on Io Sky. But I still think we're getting Asuka Io. because of the Oscar promo. So then we go to a really good promo. Like I said, we're going to get the Demon at WrestleMania from Finn. Finn Balor cuts a promo and he congratulates Dominic and JD for that beating. Finn then says maybe he brought it upon himself. Finn then says he wanted to do this the easy way and play nice, but he taught them how to play dirty. This promo is basically telling you that Finn's about to turn into the Demon. Finn then says playtime is over. Finn then says you only know one side of him. He's going to turn into the Demon. I said it 7 weeks ago on Scoops. Finn then said there is a side that he buried a long time ago. Demon. Finn then says there is a side that he thought was gone forever. Demon. Finn then says you have awakened it and it is back. Finn then says it is coming for you. So 100% we're going to get Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio at WrestleMania, which is something I said 7 weeks ago on Sunday Night Scoop. So definitely looking forward to this matchup. Definitely looking forward to seeing Demon Finn back. But what are they going to do with Roxanne? Is she going to still side with Finn because Finn brought her into Judgment Day? Is Roxanne and Raquel going to be the reason why Liv loses to Stephanie? I don't know. That match is very Stephanie Liv is very unpredictable for me. So then Dominic then asked everyone, what did Finn mean? JD, they're in the back, obviously, in the Judgment Day clubhouse. JD then says they don't need to worry about it. They need to worry about your deadbeat dad getting into the Intercontinental title ladder match, which I'm still super shocked about. Dominic then said Dominic said, don't worry, you will bring the Intercontinental Championship back to the Judgment Day. Dominic then says he knows how to deal with his deadbeat dad. He said he's going to talk to Adam Pearce. So then Roxanne Perez then shows up, and Liv Morgan tells Raquel if she could have, asked Raquel if she could have a moment with, everything's all good, could she have a moment with Roxanne Perez? Liv then thanks Roxanne for everything she did last week. But then she said there is still a big, huge elephant in the room. Liv then says she knows that Finn brought her into the group, but she tells Roxanne you have to understand that he turned his back on them. Stephanie then, but before Roxanne could even she starts to talk, but she didn't get a full sentence out. Stephanie attacks Liv from behind and sends her into the storage cases and the TV monitor and head to head with Roxanne. So then we get the closing segments of Monday Night Raw. Deputy Chief Content Officer Predictable Paul Triple H Levesque makes his way out for the contract sign. Adam Pearce follows. Adam Pearce previews the WrestleMania 42 match between Wwe and Brock Lesnar. Says we have seen the birth of a true clash of the Titans at WrestleMania. So then out comes Paul Heyman to interrupt. Paul then tries to introduce his client, Brock Lesnar, but he can't really talk because the crowd's talking, way loud over him. Paul then says Brock Lesnar is one ruler that Wwe can't measure up to. Brock makes his way down to the ring. Wwe then follows. Huge entrance for Wwe, huge pop. He 100% needs to go over and will go over at WrestleMania. And I believe if I had to guess, I think Brock opens night 2. If I had to make a prediction. It's going to be night 1 or night 2, but I think they open night 2. I don't know what they did for night 1. If it was me, I would probably open night 1 with the ladder match. With Penta's ladder match, probably. So Wwe makes his way down to the ring, but then Brock hits a shoulder as Wwe enters the ring. Wwe then sends Brock into the ring post. They then go over the table, and security comes into the ring, and they to get thrown aside by Brock and Obafemi. Brock is the first to escape to attack Oba. Oba is then free, and he goes after Brock. Brock then throws a chair at Oba, and Oba throws it back. Security is like in full force at this point. Security then holds both men back as the show comes to a close. So that is it, guys, for the Raw recap. Like I said, I give it about a 9. I'll quickly run through the 13 confirmed WrestleMania matches again. Kind of start on. It's gonna kind of be random. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. For the undisputed SmackDown Championship. And then we're going to have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk for the Raw Heavyweight Championship. Stephanie Victoria defends against Liv Morgan for the Women's Raw Championship. Jade Cargill defends against Rhea Ripley for the Women's SmackDown Championship. That's 4. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio is 5. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar is 6. That's 6 matches right there. 7 more to cover. And then we're going to have the number 7 is going to be for the Intercontinental Championship. Penta, JD McDonough, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, and Rusev. And the I'm going to call it a 6-pack ladder match for Intercontinental Championship. That's 7. Number 8 is going to be Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu in a non-sanctioned match. That's 8. Number 9 is the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team title match. Charlotte and Alexa versus Irresistible Forces versus Bayley and Lara versus the Bella Twins. Sami Zayn defends the U.S. title as of now against Trick Williams. I don't know if Carmelo gets added. That's 9 or 10. See, what am I leaving out? AJ Lee defends the Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch. There's got to be 1 or 2 that I'm leaving out. Sabria Jade. Gunther goes 1-on-1 versus Seth Rollins. So I believe that is the 13 matches. If I skipped one, sorry, it's a lot to remember. But I expect Asuka. I know what the 13 match was. I did leave it out. It's gonna, which I tweeted about today and talked about yesterday on Scoops. Show Speed and the Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory against the Usos, and LA Knight. I fully expect the 14 match to be Asuka versus Io, but we will see if they pivot away from that. With that being said, guys, that is our Raw recap. Shout out to 235 people that's tuned in, whether they're watching through my YouTube channel, my X, or Talk It Up Podcasters X. So get some shout outs. Shout out to Bentu. Good to see you as always. Shout out to Peter Anthony. He seems to be in every one of my streams, so thank you for that. Shout out to Raymond. I will see you next Wednesday for the WrestleMania prediction show. And shout out to Sean, which he was on Scoops a lot yesterday. Appreciate you coming back in tonight. I will also see you next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the WrestleMania prediction show. And I did like your tweet about going back to WrestleMania 17 and Cody going heel. I agree with that, but everybody else seems to think Randy's winning, but I think Cody's retaining, but we'll see. So just a quick couple announcements again. Like I said, it's an impromptu, but super excited for the opportunity. I will be interviewing Mona Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys tune in to that. I already tweeted it. It's on my X. Look, it's going to be an hour and 15-minute interview. She's done a lot of media work, obviously done a lot of interviews. If you don't know who she is, look her up on X or Instagram or TikTok. And she also done a TikTok video with Cody Rhodes. So we're both Cody fans, so we're probably going to have a lot to talk about. It's mainly just gonna be about her though, not me. What she what got her into wrestling, what type of interviews she done, what favorite interviews, stuff like that. And then obviously I may ask her what she thinks about this whole Pat McAfee situation if we have time. But make sure you gotta tune into that Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern for that. So but yeah, shout out to everyone from DWE. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern for Inside the Mind with Miami. Also, always a great show. And then also this coming Saturday, make sure you tune in to DWE Radio. Shout out to Miami, the CEO, and the unseen Blinghausen, one half of Talk It Up Wrestling Podcast and DWE Radio. The CEO and the COO of DWE. Make sure you give Talk It Up Podcast a follow and a subscription also on YouTube, as well as follow both of them on X. Shout out to World of Greg, Director Reg, After Slam Podcast. Make sure you give him a follow on X and a subscription on YouTube. And everyone affiliated with Gimmick Table Media as well. Shout out to all of them. Thank you guys for all the messages and stuff about the interview. I'm super excited. I'm hoping it opens up a lot of doors for more interviews in the future. So, Triple H worst booker. Yeah. So like I said, Wednesday's the interview with Mona, but next week is a 7-day week. Next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll have a full panel of 10 at 7 p.m. Eastern for the WrestleMania prediction show. We'll have 10 on screen and 2 in the comments as we predict 14 matches, or 13 now, but it should be 14 for WrestleMania. There will be no Sunday scoops on April the 19th. There will be one this coming Sunday. It'll be the last one before WrestleMania. But I will not be holding one the Sunday of WrestleMania because I will be doing a WrestleMania Night 2 recap show after the post show goes off. After WrestleMania is completely over and the post show is done, I'll go live and I'll recap Night 2. I will be back with Sunday Scoops on April 26th. And then also that night is the season premiere of LFG Season 3, which I will be starting at 11:30 p.m. Eastern every Sunday night until LFG is over. So you guys set that notification bell reminder. 6 days of content this week and obviously 7 days of content coming to you guys next week. WrestleMania week is going to be busy. So all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and go to the outro, and then I will be back to tell you guys where you can find me on your socials, where you guys can find me on my socials, and what I have coming up the rest of this week, and what I have coming up next week for you guys.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right, like I said, shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. Shout out to 234 people that's watching live for the Raw recap. The next to last Raw before WrestleMania. Obviously, next Monday is the go home, so there's no matches announced. WWE is being shit with the announcing the matches for Raw and SmackDown leading up right close to WrestleMania, but I guess it's kind of expected. I fully expect NXT tomorrow night to announce their match for next week. So I think this is going to be Raw and SmackDown. That's going to be fits. But I think SmackDown may announce matches because I do feel like maybe the U.S. title, maybe the SmackDown tag team titles are going to be on the SmackDown Go Home show right before WrestleMania. So I do feel like that. And obviously the Hall of Fame is going to be coming up. I believe it's Friday night after SmackDown or something. I believe it's like midnight. I will not probably. I'm gonna try to watch it, but I'm not recapping it for damn sure. So as far as where you can find me on my socials, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen in the blue. All my links are in my bio, and also if you follow me on any of these platforms, my YouTube channel is pinned. It's pinned at the top of my X, but now you can see it in dark blue on Instagram because I turned my Instagram account into a business account, and TikTok is also pinned there. If you're friends with me on Facebook, it's also linked in my bio there as well. But if you're not following me on X, you're looking for me, you can find me at EVP2JP. Instagram, same handle, but lowercase at EVP2JP. On TikTok at Brady the Goat 21 at Brady BRADY Goat 21. Last but not least, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have friends, family, share the YouTube with all your friends. Try to help me get to 300 subscribers. I believe I'm at 213 as of right now, which I did hit my goal before WrestleMania. So thank you guys for that. And if you are watching this stream live on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. That helps me out. That helps my channel out. Helps the algorithm out. And obviously my ultimate goal is to try to get a stream up to 10 likes. Maybe the interview does it Wednesday. We'll see. If not, I'm hoping WrestleMania Prediction Show will be the one that I can get that 10 like. But if you are watching the stream, or if you go back and watch it later tomorrow, just hit that like button. Sean left some comments on the NXT recap show. I went back and answered him, so he can attest to that. If you go back and watch it, you want to comment on something that happened on the show, just leave a comment. Obviously, I will get back, and if I see it, which I normally do, I will answer it back into the YouTube comments. But if you're not subscribed to me and you're looking for my YouTube channel, you can go to the search bar and type in at the EVP show. Tons of content, over 840 videos, I believe, something like that. A lot of shorts. I haven't been putting out a lot of shorts lately because StreamYard kind of cut me back on those. I'm saving those for like the interview and obviously for WrestleMania and stuff like that. I'm going to use those up, and then I'll get 6 more up until May. So, yeah. But yeah, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Help me get to 300 subscribers. What I have coming up next, tomorrow night, I'm back again at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for your NXT recap. So Rika goes one-on-one with Izzy Dame, and Lola Vice has heard NXT Women's Championship celebration. Like I said on Scoops, you can expect to see JC Jane again back on programming. There's still 2 weeks, so she's probably going to get kicked out of Fatal Influence. Izzy Dame probably going to take her spot. So a lot's going to go on NXT. So join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night for your NXT recap. I'm back live Wednesday, early, super early, which I love. 1 p.m. Eastern time. Will be my first interview on my YouTube channel. I will be interviewing the one and only Mona at 1 p.m. Eastern. So set a reminder. The thumbnail is already out. The video is already set in the YouTube channel. So hit that notification bell. And if you have any questions, obviously I don't know how many questions I'll be able to bombard her with from the comments, but I will do the best I can do. If you guys have a couple of questions, obviously, if I'll run out of questions or whatever, then maybe she can answer some questions from comments as well. Completely up to her. This interview is about her. So tune in Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern as I interview Mona. On Thursday night, I'm back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for your TNA recap show. And then Friday night, not the best show, but I'm back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for your SmackDown recap. Saturday, I have no stream, so I will not be streaming Saturday. But then Sunday, April 12th, it will be the last Sunday Scoop before WrestleMania at 6 p.m. Eastern. Tune in to Sunday Night Scoop with the EVP, episode 17. First hour or so, maybe not as much because there was a lot more news last week. But it could be. of news, and then I open up the Q&A to Twitter and YouTube with your guys' questions. And you guys, there was close to, I believe, 200 comments when I went back and looked last night after the stream. So thank you guys for that. Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, join me for episode 17 of Sunday Night Scoops. Next week is WrestleMania week. So you can catch me live again Monday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for your Raw recap. And then I'm back next Tuesday night again at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for your NXT recap. And then next Wednesday, April 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be joined by a lot of people that was on the NXT Stand and Deliver for your WrestleMania prediction show. It's going to be long, but I think with the flow that we have for NXT, maybe we can get it done in 2 hours, a little bit less with 14 matches. We'll see. But I look forward to it. It's going to be a great panel, a lot of great wrestling minds, a lot of great creators, and then some people that just enjoy coming on YouTube. So and also put out good content as well. So next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, that is going to be the WrestleMania prediction show. Next Thursday night, I'm back again, 11:30 p.m. Eastern for your TNA recap show. And then next Friday night, the night before WrestleMania, the go-home show of SmackDown and the Night of the Hall of Fame, I believe, at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. You can catch me on the SmackDown recap show as I go through everything that goes down on SmackDown, right? The day before WrestleMania. Next Saturday. As of right now, tentatively, I don't know the exact time. It may be a little earlier, it might be a little later, but I'm going to set it once I get the thumbnail and stuff. Next Saturday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern time, will be your WrestleMania Night 1 recap show, as I'll be going over everything that went down on WrestleMania Night 1. And then next Sunday, same time. Could alter depending on the post show, but I'm setting it for 11:30 p.m. Eastern time next Sunday night for your WrestleMania Night 2 recap show. So full week next week, 7 days, a lot of WrestleMania stuff. Definitely looking forward to it, as well as the interview coming up in 2 days with Mona. So you guys make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Because I'm always putting out fresh content every single day, it seems like. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Raw Recap Show live here on the EVP Show channel, my X, and Talking Up Podcast X as well. I will see you guys tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you hit that notification bell and join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for your NXT Recap Show. With that being said, I am the EVP from the EVP Show and the Golden Boy of DWE. And DWE is the only place to be. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your Tuesday. And join me tomorrow night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for your NXT recap. Good night, everyone.